Hearing James's anxious voice jolted me awake, and for a moment I did not know where I was. I opened the door in a dazed state. When he saw I was okay, relief washed over his face, but it quickly turned to anger. "What's wrong with you? You were ignoring my calls and messages. Are you trying to scare me for fun?" After I picked up the phone, I realized James had called me multiple times. While I was asleep, another earthquake struck. "Sorry, I was in a deep sleep and didn't hear anything," I apologized. James exploded. "Don't lie! You are terrified of earthquakes. Even the slightest tremor keeps you up all night." He was not wrong. Every time it happened, he would stay up with me and assure me that he would protect me. He even said that even if the building collapsed, he would be there with me until the very end. When I saw his misbuttoned shirt, a strange warm feeling filled my heart. Turned out he did still care about my safety. Yet as soon as my gaze landed on the marks on his neck, I snapped from my imagination. I realized his concern was not for me at all. He was only looking after me because of his dying brother's last request, and I was just a pitiful orphan who happened to be part of his responsibility. "I guess I was just too tired," I calmly said. Clearly James did not believe my claim because he looked inattentively at my face. For a while before reprimanding me coldly, "Why is your face so pale? Did you do this just to make me come here?" I looked up and saw the frustration in his eyes. In the past, if there was an earthquake and he saw my pale face, he would tell me not to worry and that everything would be fine. Now, when he saw my pale face, he accused me of putting on an act and painted it white. Although my lips stretched into a smile, inside I felt like I was soaking in ice-cold water. "Sorry for ruining your night, Big Brother. Go back and keep your girlfriend company." I hadn't called him Big Brother in a long time. The name that slipped out of my mouth made James's lips tighten into a thin line, and in his dark eyes, I saw the emotions I could not decipher. "You are coming back with me. If there are aftershocks, I'll feel better knowing you were safe with me and Jane. Besides, this will prevent you from doing this kind of stunt again," he added. "I won't cause any trouble. You can go." I refused to leave. James, who had almost lost his patience, frowned. "Because you wouldn't answer your phone? I had to leave Jane alone. Can't you be more considerate?" I had already aborted our child and planned to leave quietly. Was not it sensible enough? What more did he want from me? Before I could say anything, his phone rang. A delicate, tearful voice asked, "James, when are you coming back? I'm scared." "Jane, don't worry, I'll be back soon," James assured her with a gentle tone while giving me a look. His eyes urged me to cooperate. The fact that he thought of me during the first sign of the earthquake was already enough for me. After all, we were not related by blood, and he had taken good care of me for years. If I still did not that it was time to draw a line, I was being ungrateful. James was still on the phone when I refused to leave, so he picked me up and threw me over his shoulder, then carried me to the elevator. When I was busy struggling and telling him to put me down, I accidentally knocked his phone to the floor. Angry and frustrated with my antic, he slapped my backside hard. The crisp sound echoed down the hall. We were so shocked that we both froze at the same time. The warmth of his hands seeped through the thin fabric, making me feel uncomfortable. When the thought of the mistake we made that night went through my mind, my cold body turned hot. The little girl who passed by covered her mouth and snickered as she ran away. I overheard her excitedly gossiping with her friend around the corner. "I just saw the cutest couple. I bet they won't leave the hotel room for days." When James, who had been stunned silly because of his action, heard this, he immediately threw me to the floor. His usually calm demeanor shattered as his face flushed all the way down his neck. "Look at the mess you've caused. This is a disaster. I should never have bothered about you." After saying this, he picked out his phone and stormed off the hotel. I used all my strength to steady myself by holding onto the elevator doors until they were about to close. Then I collapsed, unable to stand anymore. He was the one who tried to drag me away, and he was the one who crossed the line. If that was enough to embarrass him, what about his act of getting me pregnant? What did that mean? As my emotions surged, I felt a rush of blood flowing from between my legs. Darkness clouded my vision, and I fell backward. When the young woman saw me collapse, she shouted toward the elevator, "Hey, your girlfriend just fainted."